It's sold to us as the best of times. Excitement with friends, the thrill of the bet, and the chance of winning a few quid. Last week, bets worth €500 million were placed over the Cheltenham Festival, with plenty of winners and plenty of winnings. But the reality is that the same thrill and excitement is pushing some people towards deeply destructive and isolating gambling addictions. So how is Ireland getting to grips with it? Gambling is now inextricably entwined with almost every sport, but Cheltenham is the biggest week in the calendar for bookmakers, with no shortage of free bets to tempt customers. Small deposits can be multiplied several times over. A couple of €100 can become nearly €1,000 in free bets. I opened 3 new accounts to avail of the offers. I didn't need any ID to place the bets, but my identity would need to be verified to withdraw any money I might win. Providing these free bets, what are known as inducements, is still entirely legal, even after Ireland's gambling regulation bill was passed last year.
So what happened in relation to inducements in the final draft of the bill, I suppose, was 2 things. One thing is that general inducements will still be permitted. However, specific inducements targeted at individuals or groups of individuals, that's not allowed, and further restrictions can be brought in due course if that's deemed necessary.
Essentially what happened is it was watered down after pressure from the betting companies.
I think that it was deemed that in terms of general inducements that it was a necessary part of marketing, but in terms of specifically targeting individuals or groups of individuals, that was problematic and would not be allowed.
So if betting companies are offering you a free bet, the same offer needs to be available to everybody else. But what happens to our brains that makes gambling so addictive? By betting €10 each with 3 separate companies, I received over €100 in free bets, a lot more gambling than I paid for. After a number of failed bets, I've backed the odds-on favourite in the Champion Hurdle. I couldn't use my free bets for any odds-on punts, so instead placed one on a 50-1 long shot. A minute in, the favourite falls, and with it, my best chance of winning something. Oh, it's gone. That's the end of Constitution Hill anyway, so that €10 is gone. We asked a specialist in addiction to explain what was happening inside my brain as the race played out.
So you still have a bet on here. Okay, so you're anticipating here. This is all orbitofrontal cortices, your reward centres are highly activated now at this stage.
My €5 each way bet on 50-1 shot Golden Ace is now all I have left. Come on, Golden Ace, you need to get us something here. Come on, buddy.
You're involved, your emotional centres are activated. Some risk processing centres as well going here. Should I be betting? Should I not be betting? But you're very much engrossed.
I'm not saying it. Last hurdle.
Your euphoric centres are probably deactivating now again.
Golden Ace, we just need to get up to second. Come on.
Yeah, so so this is the emotional centres now kicking off. You're getting a big level of dysphoria here, as opposed to if your runner is going to come in, it's the opposite. You've got.
Come on!
Well, hang on.
Oh, he's down! Oh my God!
What's happening here? You're going to win?
The horse in front of him fell.
Oh, so you are going to do it. Okay, so now euphoric centres, here we go, orbitofrontal cortices, dopamine-rich areas firing. They're on fire now in terms of neurocircuit activation.
All right!
So you're laying down memories here as well. This, the amygdala, the insula, any of the memory. You're imprinting strong memories here for future betting.
That was our free bet. And on that free bet, which was a €5 each way, we have €312.50. Not bad. Not bad. But Professor O'Gara says the memories of big wins like this are for many people the first building blocks of addiction. These days, our phones provide casinos in our pockets, further increasing that risk.
The online product has made this, what is essentially a highly addictive process, available to the masses. And that's exactly what's happened. Previous estimates of gambling addiction, if you looked at old British prevalence surveys going back 15, 20 years, it was somewhere around 0.3 to 0.8% of the population, a figure that the industry were very keen to put out. What we have now, according to the ESRI figures, Pete London and his colleagues, we have that in Ireland, people are severely affected in 3%. And that's just the headline figure of people who are extremely affected. We know that up to 15% of people are moderately affected. The online piece has caused huge difficulties, but really when you're defining what a gambling product is, it is all addictive. It is all a gambling product, including the National Lottery.
On Friday afternoon, with the Cheltenham Gold Cup about to begin, we spoke to people on the streets of Dublin to see how much of a part gambling plays in their lives.
Yeah, I like a tipple on it now during Cheltenham, all right. I don't know much about the horses, but this week I would just a few quid here and there, nothing too mad.
I'm impartial to a bet on Cheltenham week, yeah.
And what do you do? Do you do it on your phone? Is it online, or do you go to the bookies?
Oh, always on my phone, yeah.
Very occasionally, maybe once a year at most.
And what would that be on?
Grand National, probably.
For the race and say Cheltenham, Aintree, stuff like that, or I bet on the golf, like the likes of the majors and stuff. That'd be me now, yeah.
Do you ever have a bet?
No, I don't myself, no.
What about your friends or your group of friends? Is it a big thing among people your age?
Not in my friend group. Maybe my brothers a little bit more, but not myself, no.
And how often do you think you'd bet throughout the year?
Every weekend maybe, something like that, bit of fun. Yeah.
And when you say a bit of fun, how much money are we talking?
£5, probably, something like that, something small.
It's more just a social thing rather than I want to get rich off it kind of thing for me.
Change is coming for Ireland's gambling sector. The Gambling Regulation Act was passed before the end of the last government's term, though the minister responsible at the time, James Brown, said that he faced extraordinary and endless lobbying from the gambling and racing industries. Nevertheless, Ireland's Gambling Regulatory Authority was legally established earlier this month, and its powers will go beyond simply fining companies that breach new regulations.
Where there's a breach of the obligations on the part of a licensee, their licence can be revoked or it can be suspended. They can be subject to fines of 10% of turnover or of 20 million. But in addition to that, there's also key decision makers, so we can make key individuals in positions of authority within that organisation responsible for the breach, up to imprisonment of 8 years in the instance of involving children in gambling, and then lesser prison terms for other offences.
The authority itself will be funded through levies and fines on the gambling industry, some of which will be used to pay for addiction services and education through a social impact fund. It's not yet known how much it will be or whether it will have the desired effect.
Where do we go from here now? What's that going to look like? What kind of support is the gambling regulator going to get? What is a social fund going to look like in terms of the funding? What levy is going to be put on the gambling industry in terms of funding services? At present in this country, if you suffer from gambling addiction, the likelihood is, according to international literature, you are not going to attend for treatment. 1 in probably 8 or 9 people actually present for treatment. The rest of the people suffer in silence out there.